Hello everyone. I welcome you all to the initiative taken by Amit sir for the lockdown period so that your preparation does not suffer for lack of classes or any other thing. So here I am, Kanishk Shekhar. I'll be discussing the Karnataka Assembly crisis that happened last year. And what happened there was a constitutional crisis, and a constitutional crisis occurs when more than two or more constitutional provisions are confronting each other. So during these times, it is the Supreme Court, the Honorable Supreme Court of India, that comes to the rescue, and that is what happened here. So these gentlemen on your screen are the main characters of that crisis, and you see the former chief ministers, two former chief ministers, Mr. Sitaramaiah and Mr. Gaura Kumaraswamy, and you see the current chief minister, Mr. Yedurappa, and the speaker. So what these people did and how it unfolded, for that we need to know what happened when Karnataka went to assembly polls way back in 2018. So here's the information on your screen. Assembly seats, Legislative Assembly has 225 seats, and in elections in 2018, BJP emerged as the single largest party and it won 105 seats. So it was 6 to 7 seats less of majority. Still, BJP was the single largest party. So as the ritual goes, that usually the governor invites the single largest party to form the government and seek trust vote inside the house. When I say inside the house, it is on the floor of the assembly. So according to the tradition, Yedurappa was the chief ministerial candidate from BJP. So he was invited by the governor of the Karnataka, and he sworn in. He took his oath as chief minister, and he was to prove his majority on the floor of the house, that is inside the legislative assembly. But he did not go for proving a majority. Instead, he resigned. He resigned, saying that we are falling short of some 6-7 seats. So I'll not go for trust vote. Let the opposition form the government. Consequently, Congress and JDS, Janata Dal Secular, headed by Deve Gowda and his son Kumaraswamy, they came together, they did a post-poll alliance, and they got the numbers. And they formed the government. Now, this went on for a year. There were certain hiccups. Every coalition government has certain hiccups, but it was going on and on until 16 MLAs, 13 from Congress and 3 from JDS, Mr. Deve Gowda's party, they tendered their resignation as MLAs. And later on, 2 more MLAs joined. One was from some regional party in Karnataka, unable to recall its name, and the second one was an independent MLA. Now, these two were also supporting the coalition. Now, what happens? Try to analyze this. And they sent an MLA sends the resignation to the Speaker of the House, Speaker of the Legislative Assembly. So, if Speaker accepts these resignation, then what happens is that the coalition, which was jointly formed by Congress and JDS, they will not have numbers. So whenever such a situation happens, that there is certain apprehension on a government, then the government is supposed to go for trust vote inside the house, inside the legislative assembly. So speaker accepting the resignation would mandate the government to seek a trust vote in the assembly to survive. Now, if these 16 plus 2 MLAs have tendered their resignation, it means that BJP, the single largest party, will be able to prove majority in the House. And the coalition will again fall short of majority. So this provision was this thing was going to happen, because if these MLAs resigned, it means the total number of seats from the ruling coalition would be diminished and it would fall in the trust vote. The government has to resign then. So what happens was, Speaker examines the resignation and he says that they are not in proper format, they are not in a proper order. So you need to furnish them. He told this to the 13 MLAs who wanted to resign, that you need to furnish them in proper order. Now, remaining 5 MLAs whose resignation was found to be in order by the Speaker said, I need some time to meet you all 5 people and discuss about your resignation. Now, in a letter to the governor of the state, Speaker Mr. K. R. Ramesh said that these MLAs did not turn up to meet me. Now 13 plus 5 total 18 MLAs. Now these MLAs, because speaker is not accepting their resignation, they approach the Supreme Court, the highest court of land. They approach the Supreme Court of India. Now, happy with this move, as I said, the rebel JDS Congress MLAs moved to the Supreme Court to challenge Speaker's decision, where he rejected some resignation. Now, what happens is Supreme Court asked the rebel MLAs to meet the speaker and also said that speaker must decide on the election by midnight. Speaker said that I cannot work at this lightning speed. This is exactly what he said. It's not here, but I'm telling you that he said that I cannot work at this lightning speed. That by today midnight I'm supposed to decide on the resignation. I need some more time. So court said, okay, you will get some time. But finally, Supreme Court, its decision, upheld the disqualification. Those 18 Congress plus JDS MLAs in Karnataka who were disqualified by the speaker, their resignation, their disqualification was accepted by the Supreme Court. Now, court also struck down the portion of the speaker's order by which the legislators were disqualified till the end of 15th Karnataka Assembly. Now, let us try to understand this. There is something called 10th schedule in the Indian Constitution. Now, what is this 10th schedule? There was this question in your prelims also. They asked this question few years back that what is the content of 10th schedule? The answer is anti-defection law. Now, what is this anti-defection law? We were not having any anti-defection law until there was a famous case. There were many cases, but this is supposed to be the culmination of such case. In 1967, there was this MLA in Haryana called Gaya Ram. So what Gaya Ram did, within 1 day, he changed 3 parties. Morning, he was in some other party, afternoon, some other party, and by evening, he returned to the original party. So the spokesperson of the party said that Gaya Ram to ab Aya Ram ho gaye. Gaya Ram is now Aya Ram. Gaya kahan to aa gaye. This is also given in your NCERT, political science. So this Aya Ram, Gaya Ram phrase became very famous. Now what happens is, then this anti-defection law was brought, 10th schedule was introduced into the Indian Constitution. Now why it was done? Because when a person, an MLA or an MP wins an election, he does not wins on his own charm. Largely not so, because he represents a particular party. A party represents an ideology. There is a very dedicated cadre that parties these days have. There is a certain defined ideology. This is the right wing, that is the left wing, this is the centrist position, so on and so forth. And of course, the leader matters. So a win of a candidate is not his exclusive win. It is the party's win. It is the win of the leadership. Like if we observe the last 2 parliamentary elections of India, many people won. It is widely, everyone believes that it is many people won 2014-19 parliamentary elections because of the charismatic appeal of the current Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi. So वो अपने से नहीं जीत रहा है, वो किसी और फैक्टर पर भी जीत जाता है, और जीतने के बाद जब वो उस पार्टी को छोड़ देता है, then that would amount to betrayal on the part of electorate. किसी विश्वास के साथ उसको चुना जाता है, और जब वो चुन के किसी और पार्टी में चला जाएगा तो ये तो विश्वासघात हुआ. जिन्होंने वोट दिया उनके साथ विश्वासघात हुआ. I vote for a particular ideology, you vote for a particular ideology, I have my own reasons, you have your own reasons. We see a particular candidate and we vote for him or her. Now later on the candidate go join some other party. So again that's a betrayal. तो विश्वासघात है ये. तो इसीलिए 10th शेड्यूल लाया गया कि अब ऐसा कोई ना कर पाए. अगर वो करता है, अगर जीतने के बाद वो किसी और पार्टी में जाएगा तो उसको डिस्क्वालीफाई कर देंगे. ओके. Now in 2003 91st constitutional amendment was brought, जिसमें कि इस 10th शेड्यूल को अमेंड किया गया. अमेंड क्या हुआ? It was said that 2/3, the number should be 2/3. Like what happened is we saw that there were 106 seats that BJP won in 2018 Karnataka Assembly. Now if 2/3 of 106 MLAs want to leave BJP, then they can do that. Then they will not attract any penal provision of the 10th schedule of Indian Constitution. I repeat, If you are switching over, if you are moving to some other party, you must do that with 2/3 of the elected members from your party. Currently BJP has 303 Lok Sabha seats. So if any MP goes to some other party, 10 schedule provision would apply, he would be disqualified. But if 2/3 into 303, अगर इतने लोग डिफिकेट करेंगे ना, तब नहीं होगा, तब लोग नहीं बदले, तब पार्टी बदल गई है. इसके पीछे का लॉजिक यही है. सो यहाँ पर 2/3 नहीं है. कर्नाटक वाले केस में there is no 2/3 because we see there are just 16 plus 2, 18 people, and JDS won close to 40 seats and Congress won close to more than 80 seats. Actual figure ऐसा ही कुछ था, but हाँ 40 and 80 है. तो 2/3 तो नहीं हो रहा है, 18 हो रहा है, तो इन पर तो 10 शेड्यूल लगेगा. Now try to understand that these people are trying to resign. Speaker is not accepting the resignation, speaker is disqualifying them. And according to 10 schedule, see the next slide, what is the constitutional position? Speaker is not empowered to disqualify any member till the end of the term. However, a member disqualified under 10 schedule shall be subjected to sanctions provided under Article 75(1)(b), Article 164(1)(b), and Article 361(b) of the Indian Constitution. Now, let us try to analyze these articles one by one. Article 75(1)(b) and Article 164(1)(b) are more or less similar. The only difference is that Article 75(1)(b) applies to the Union, Parliament, and 164(1)(b) applies to the states. What it says, that anyone who defects, he or she will be liable to be disqualified. He or she can be disqualified under 10th schedule, and he cannot hold a ministerial position. According to Article 75(1)(b), he cannot become a minister with the Union government, and according to Article 164(1)(b), he cannot become a state minister, a minister with the state government. Article 361(b) says, it applies to both union and state, that anyone disqualified under 10th schedule will not hold any privileged position with the government, whether state or union. So this is what the Supreme Court said, because what the speaker did in Karnataka was that he did not accept the resignation. Instead, he disqualified the members. Now, how is it different? It is different because, again, according to the 10th schedule, that if you are disqualified with 10th schedule, you cannot fight the elections until the duration of the assembly. So in 2018, the assembly was formed. Elections happened in 2018. In 2019, till 2019, a coalition government was ruling. The duration of the assembly is till 2023. So these 16 plus 2, 18 people who have been disqualified by the speaker could not have fought elections till 2023. Now, this is where the Supreme Court comes. That is why this case is very important for the exams. This is where Supreme Court comes. Supreme Court says that the speaker can disqualify. However, speaker cannot bar these people from fighting elections. Because if 16 plus 2 seats, assembly seats where people have resigned, those seats become vacant. 18 election happened, 19 these people resigned in 2019. Duration is till 2023. So for the remaining 4 years, there has to be a by-election. Speaker disqualified them that you cannot fight elections till 2023. Some other 18 people will fight on these seats. This is when the Supreme Court comes to the rescue. It is one of its kind of a case, and said that no, you can fight the election. Speaker can disqualify you. Let us see what the court says. Supreme Court held that an order of the speaker under the 10th schedule could be subject to judicial review on 4 grounds. Now let us try to examine what schedule Supreme Court has said the 4 grounds are: perversity, violation of constitutional mandate, order passed in violation of natural justice, and mala fide. Now, what are these things? Let us examine them one by one. Mala fide is antonym of bona fide. It means that if your intentions are not good, if you are switching over from one party to the other and your intentions are not good, that would disqualify as, that would be classified as a mala fide intention, and there can be a judicial review. It means court can see into it whether you had some merit when you switched from your party to some other party. Perversity. Now, perversity is like high-headedness. There are some other terms to define perversity, like high-headedness, acting in a very arbitrary manner, very obnoxious kind of conduct, udantata in Hindi. So if we are acting out of perversity, of course, Supreme Court can look into it, High Courts can look into it. Violation of constitutional mandate. See, Constitution has a very clearly defined mandate that you have to oblige by those mandates. And if you tend to suppress them, or if you tend to violate them, then of course judiciary will come to the rescue. Order passed in violation of natural justice. No, natural justice is a constitutional jurisprudence, the law behind a particular act, a particular assumption or a postulate in law. So what it says that if natural justice has not been followed, like if speaker is disqualifying these people without these people being heard, अगर किसी को डिस्क्वालीफाई कर रहे हैं तो उसका पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू भी आपको जानना पड़ेगा, वो भी चुनाव जीत के आया है, तो ये फिर नेचुरल जस्टिस के अगेंस्ट है। तो अगर इन 4 कंडीशंस को फुलफिल किया जाता है, तब किसी भी डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन 10 शेड्यूल में जो स्पीकर कर रहे हैं, सुप्रीम कोर्ट या हाई कोर्ट उसका एक रिव्यू कर सकती है। दे कैन गो फॉर अ जुडिशियल रिव्यू if these 4 things are. So these 4 points are important. At least jot them down. Those 3 articles are important. The provisions of these articles: Article 75 1B, Article 164 1B, Article 361 1B. I have explained these articles, and let us see further what happened. So Supreme Court also said that Speaker is a constitutional authority and he should not replace constitutional authority with political morality. So quite harsh words by the highest court of India. They said to the speaker that you are a constitutional authority, so be a constitutional authority. Don't act as a political stooge, because the office of speaker is a very august office. It's a very sacred office. He is supposed to be above political biasness. So when they are tendering their resignation, anyone who wants to tender his or her resignation has a right to do so. All you can say is that you are not you will be disqualified, but you cannot bar the member from fighting the election for the remaining time of the assembly. So what happens after that? That election were held on the 15th seat on 5th December 2019. BJP needed 6 to win majority. They won 12 seats, and BJP is in power in Karnataka under B.S. Yediyurappa. He is the chief minister. So let me try to just revise the entire thing that we have discussed here. 2018 election happens. BJP emerges as the single largest party. However, could not prove majority in the house. Even did not go for the majority trust vote. And Congress and Janata Dal Secular forms the government. 1 year after the government, 1 year into the office, these 15 members, 13 plus 2, 15 members tender their resignation. Now, who were these members? They were from JDS and Congress itself. So they tendered their resignation. When they tendered their resignation, Speaker if he accepts, now Speaker mostly belongs to the ruling party. Theoretically, he belongs to the ruling party, and Speaker is supposed to be politically neutral, theoretically. So Speaker did not accept those resignation. Speaker wanted to disqualify them. Speaker disqualified them. There were a lot of political melodrama that went into it, that the format is not correct. I have sought time to meet these people. They have not met me yet. We have discussed these things. The rebel MLAs approached the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court upheld the decision of Speaker to the extent that your disqualification of these rebel MLAs is correct. However, you cannot disbar them. You cannot bar them to fight elections till the duration, that is to 2023. So by-elections are held on these seats, 15 seats, and BJP wins 12, which means those who resigned as MLAs, they joined BJP and they fought again on the same seat on a BJP ticket, and they won, and BJP is in power. So this was one of its kind case. So this is what I had to discuss with you today. Please see these 3 articles in detail from the BEAR Act, and the 4 provisions that under which decision of speaker can be questioned by the court. Thank you so much.